back again with another video. Uh, this is about, and I'm spiraling real bad right now, which is something I call the curse that I have on my being, which is a true thing. It is a curse, or a hack, as you can call it, uh, or a scientifically mental illness. All kind of the same thing. If you get really narrowed down, you can all say they're the same thing in some ways. Anyway, getting on to the point. I have come to another revelation. This has to go on about my other video. Nothing can be as a whole being, and this goes especially to Christians, but any religious belief, any religion believer, nothing as a being, as a divine entity, nothing can be perfectly good, all perfect or all good. The perfect thing in it by itself, I still can't. I don't. Maybe even that, but I know for a fact that nothing can be all good, perfectly good. That doesn't exist. That is a notion that my God is all perfect, or especially like all good, loving, all loving. No, that's where you're wrong. Your God is not all loving. It is not perfectly good. And what I mean by that is, you see, I had a synapse burn out just now. My fucking brain just, hold on just a second. If, and you see, I'm still trying to conjure it up. I said, give me a second because it was for something else that happened, not relating to what I was talking about. So now I'm still back at zero, thinking. That happened all the time with me. I'm thinking of something straight, and then my brain just, it's like something grabs my thoughts and steals them from me. I completely lose track of what I was going to think. Anyway, doesn't matter. Nothing can be perfectly good. And what I mean by that is, okay, I had to actually pause it there, and that was for the thinking about what I had to fucking think about, because it happens so many times when I'm trying to get a point across, and then my brain absolutely loses it. Like I can't remember anything what I said. It just came back to me. I just had to think about it for a good solid 5 minutes there. I was like, fuck. There are only two forms. This is what I mean by only perfectly good. You can't be perfectly good. I mean, you can't be perfectly good as a god, a being, a deity, whatever, universe, whatever you want to call it. It can't possibly be perfectly good. It is just a lesser form of evil. And what I mean by that is, there are two, and even as a human being, you're evil. You're just a lesser form of evil. And you'll see what it kind of correlates to the other video. And I know, especially when you hear this, you're gonna click off the video and be like, I'm not evil. Shit. Oh, fuck that. Yes, you are. But this not only goes to human beings. This goes to anything. And see, I believe in gods and beings and entities and all that, aliens, all that shit. But this goes to anything that can think and has the free will to has some type of free will. Which free will is a thing, but it's arguable, and even sometimes I go back and forth between it. I don't have a solid state of firm belief in that, but I'm not going to get sidetracked. People are a lesser form of evil, or maybe not even a lesser form. There are two versions of evil, which is the enablers, and the causators. And you're thinking, causators is not even a word. Causation of something, which is the first degree, like, or not first degree, but you're you make something happen. You're the one that caused the evil. You punched somebody in the face because you were angry, or you did this to somebody because you felt like it, and it was vile, it was wicked. That's causation, right? That is the main evil, in this world, in this universe, or it's just whatever the form of evil definition. And then it's the enabler, which is another form of evil. The enabler is the lesser of the two evils. There's only two forms. The lesser of the evils, but it's still an evil. And if you think about it in your life, and human beings are even less responsible for being a enabler. I would say even this, go to this point, even human beings are less at fault out of anything, really, of being evil. If you think about it, it gets down to the bar. Human beings are the most less evil out of anything, if you want to get down to it. And I'm not giving us some power, I'm not giving us ego. I'm just using logic and thinking and rational thinking. Human beings are the less evil, and I know you're thinking, well, there's some pretty fucking evil human beings. And yes, the causations, evil human beings, they lose themselves to their wicked, evil ways. And I said wicked, look, I am not using my tongue like a Christian. I am not a Christian. I despise it. There's a lot that that comes from it that is like a half-truth. There's truth from it. There's not so much truth from it. It's half-truth. I don't like the religion. I'm not a Christian. I say wicked because there is wicked things that humans have done. Anyway, there's some causation amongst humans. Causation of evil. Especially if you believe free will exists, then yeah. There's some causations of evil, and there's some enablers of evil. But everybody is a form of that to a degree. But I would say less. You could use that. You could argue with that. Even argue with that to an extent. Be like, well, I haven't caused any evil. But even it seems like I would think even one person, and since you've been alive, I'm pretty much you can think of one thing that you've done that has at least been somewhat fucked up, and you've at least done it once, which is a causation of evil. Okay, does it make you an evil person? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it was an evil thing you did. Okay, well, okay, that doesn't make you an evil person necessarily, but why'd you do it? Why'd you do it in the first place? I mean, if you knew it was fucked up and you did it anyway, still doesn't make you an evil person. That's causation. But okay, getting to the second point. Well, I know everybody's responsible for this. I know for a fact. You don't give your life away to charity. You don't give all your money away to charity. You don't do this. You don't do that. You don't rush over and give your money on a plane and go fly to parts of the country where people are getting killed mercilessly and wickedly for no reasons. You don't give all your money to that. Okay, so and you're gonna say counter argument. Well, so you're saying I'm evil because I don't do that. No, that doesn't mean... No, I'm not saying that necessarily, but in a sense I am. All I'm saying is you're just a very lesser known form of evil. You're an enabler, and so that still makes you evil, but it doesn't make you wicked. It doesn't make you... And evil, saying evil isn't even the right name for it, because it's such a lesser form. Like, I'm over here in my country, and you expect me to give up my life completely for some random people I don't know. And so the answer would be like, yeah, I can see why you wouldn't do that. Obviously, I mean, I get it. You're not evil for that. I don't think you're evil for that, but in a sense, it is a factor of evil. It is a byproduct, an enablation of that evil. Technically, you did not give your money to this charity. So technically, I mean, you did enable some evil there because they maybe really needed it. You see what I'm saying? So technically, if you want to draw a line and get really technical, you are evil. You're just a really less form of it. There's two evils. Everybody is a form of that evil. That is only exists. And this is where I was getting to. Goodness good can only exist in action. Nobody is good. No God is good. That is for sure. No God is good. The fact of the matter, whether a God is perfect, that is to be questioned. I know in my last video I was talking about how God can be perfect. I'm not sure if that. Maybe they can, maybe they can. I'm still thinking about that, still coming to thoughts about that. No God can be good, though. And what I mean by that is goodness is different a little bit, but a God can have goodness, but no God can be like perfectly good, if you know what I mean. Like, so the Bible says, I am perfectly good, or I am all good, all loving. That is fucking bullshit. Do not believe that shit. And you know why? Because it's a fucking lie. Motherfucker can sit by and let evil shit, like, for example, and I'll throw this out there, Epstein files just got released. If that shit is completely 100% true, and all them people were doing them disgusting fucking things, and I don't even want to get into all they were doing, well then, by default, you are evil for letting that happen. And you, where I'm going with that, I'm not talking about perfect here, because your definition of perfect would have to become the cause of play into that. I'm talking about just goodness, right? That is absolutely not goodness. That is a form of evil, enabling evil. Whether you cause the causation of that evil, honestly, I do believe there are. Okay, so people are big on take responsibility for their own actions, especially when it comes to these monsters that did that shit, no doubt, right? I believe that too, and that goes in with free will as well. So I do believe in a form of free will, but also I believe that free will can be persuaded. And what I mean is, we have a sense in this reality we live in. It's an imperfect reality. The demiurge, all that Gnostic bullshit, has a lot more truth than the fucking Bible does, and that's for fucking sure. I'm not saying I'm fully Gnostic or anything, but it has a lot more truth than the Bible does. And what I mean by that is, this is an imperfect reality. It's flawed. Some consider it hell. Just existing is hell, right? I would even consider that sometimes. For sure, no doubt, I would consider my life has been hell for a long time now. But then the Gnostic thing is like, okay, well, enlightenment comes through suffering. But, okay, so see, I'm getting sidetracked here. I'll get to that in just a minute. Let me think. I'll get to that point in just a minute. Why that's also faulty. But I'll go back to what I was saying previously. Goodness can only be achieved through actions. If you want to be good, you can only be good through actions, but you won't be a good person, never. Just like a god can only be good through its actions, but it will never be a good god. And you know why? Because if a god or deity, okay, so this only goes, I guess, for creation, the being of creation, right, of this reality. For example, you can primarily target that being, because and even the beings of the archons, like you could say, are the beings underneath that being that still rule aspects or emotions or whatever the fuck that all goes into that Gnostic shit. You can even blame them to a degree, but you can also blame the demiurge and be like, okay, well, this god claims to be all perfect, or claims to be it's religious babble bullshit, claims to be all good, all perfect, whatever, all this fucking shit. Well, motherfucker, you are an evil enabler. All good, so you're not good, and people wouldn't even consider you like, hey, he's done good things, because if you look at the flip side of what it's done, what it's allowed to happen, if it has the power to stop it, then you automatically be like, this is not a good god. So like the label of good, so I guess you can still label things good, while the person can still be a level of evil. And I say level, you don't want to use the word evil, it's so strong, but you get what I'm saying. There's layers of it, and everything that is living and that has done things, there's so many layers, millions and millions of layers of evil, it's all, but it's still a particle fraction of it. So like, everything, even God, even the source or the oneness, whatever that is, I don't still understand that shit, because it doesn't make sense to me, but even that being, if it has the ability to think and has reason and intelligence at all, then it is still a form of enablement, which is enabling evil to occur. That is still a form of evil. So you could say, hey, well, even that being has evil within it, because if you let your child, the demiurge, aka, my bad, even if you let that being roam around and create a reality of mass destruction or imperfects, which is always those pleasures and stuff. So it's not completely, diluted with evil. I'm not saying that, but you get what I'm saying. This is mainly the point I was trying to say, is there's two versions of evil. Everybody or everything, every being has it. Every god has it. Even the source, or the oneness has that. It is either causation or enablement. I know it sounds made up, which it kind of is, but it's a byproduct of the word itself, which is you're enabling or causing. You see what I'm saying? So it's not an actual It's a made-up word, but you see what I'm getting going with it. So yeah, pretty much nothing can be good. Nothing. Like, if you think about it at a extreme level, of course, when you go to extremes like that, you can create exceptions with anything. And so I guess, yeah, that's going to an extreme level. But I just want to go to all the people that say, oh, my God is perfect. And also want to say, like, my God is good. What is the God allowed and what is the God done that's good? And measure that ratio. Even if it's done a lot of good things, but allowed some things that are so terribly evil, when your God is not good at all. You see what I'm going with this? There is no God that is good. Even the highest form, metaphorically speaking, like the highest form of God or being, just a being in general, the highest form, the source, Paroma, whatever, even that being itself is not good. Nothing is good. Goodness can only be achieved through actions, and that is a fact. That is the only way you can achieve goodness, but not for yourself, but just as a concept, as energy. So goodness, you can send goodness, you can receive goodness, but you can never be good. Do you see what I'm saying? That is the point I'm trying to make. You can't be good no matter what you do. And you see, I think if free will didn't exist, that would change, at least for humans. For sure. But for gods, it may never change. Unless they created a reality that is perfect. And they had perfect beings within that reality. So, and then if that's the case, then you could argue that, well, yeah, perfect. I mean, yeah, okay. But then I guess you would say, well, it's boring. Now that's because if you get to that level of thinking, like, we're pawns on a chessboard, human beings. We're farmed for our energy. I know that for a fact. We're farmed for our energy. We're pawns on a chessboard. We're like one big game to aliens and energies that we can't even understand, the demiurge included. We're pawns or chessboard. We're farmed for our energy for certain. So that is one thing, but just as an aspect in a revelation that I came to, nothing is good as far as like a being, as a human being or a energy that is capable of doing and acting and making and thinking. You see what I'm saying? If it, and I guess you're thinking, well, that goes back to the same thing I was thinking. See, I go back and forth with this to the thing of free will. If it didn't exist, well, then that's an exception, and it can be perfect or good. But that also goes back and forth. Can something be perfect and be good? Or does the only way perfection exists is to be evil and good? Is that the only way perfection can exist, is to be both evil and good at the same time? Or is that the only way perfection can exist within this reality? Or not perfection, but like to be one, to be whole, to feel satisfied, is to be evil and good. And I said, but even then you wouldn't be good because you're enabling evil. So that contradicts right back what I was saying. You're still not good if you allow evil, even to a slightly macro degree, which I know you're thinking you're going to extremes. That is an extreme, so, shame on me. That's an extreme. So, right. I shouldn't go to extremes like that, but you get what I'm saying. About the charity shit and all of that stuff. Like, everybody is evil, but it's just a lesser form of evil, or it's a pretty high form of evil, which is bad, obviously. If you're a causation of evil, when you're a constant causation of evil, that's the people who should be worried about maybe like, oof. If you're a constant causation of evil, that's the ones who you might want to worry about other things, like, oh, maybe even the afterlife, which I'm not sure on that even, but, or, yeah, you see what I mean, greed, like, greed is a heavily dismissed form of causation evil, which is, you know what I'm talking about, in this world. That is a heavy, and just sin, whatever, I don't care, form of evil, but it's a causation evil, and it's really bad because it can lead to millions of lives lost, millions destructive, just very bad things, manipulation, all type. The greed, and then like murder, shit like that, causation, you continue to murder people, like stuff like that. Greed, I think, is just dismissed a lot because it's overlooked a lot. It's like, buddy, that's a real. And I'm mainly talking about the billionaires, and especially the billionaires that just don't give back, don't give a fuck, and also the billionaires that try to, and more so than that, are the billionaires that are billionaires and then try to manipulate and control how the world is. Them are the causators that, oh, buddy, I would not want to be you because you have the equal return of punishment that you will get is probably not good. Just a guess, but I don't even know if that matters once you're dead. I don't know about that. I don't know anything about the afterlife enough to come to a theory on it. Have guesses, but even then, but that's just what I wanted to say for this video. To get my point across was. Hold on, I got a burp. Excuse me. Anyway. So yeah, that was all I was trying to get across. That point is just like, prove me wrong if you can, and if you do, good. I'll accept that I'm wrong. I will accept I'm wrong. Just like, and I will be better for that, unlike the demiurge, which can't accept that it created a faulty reality, and faulty programming, and a faulty world. And just like Christians like to say, well, the world was created, but humans turned it bad. Or the world was created perfect, and humans turned it into a fallen world. No. That is the biggest lie you've been dealt, and it's shit. That's bullshit. It is not true. The world didn't get created perfect, and humans made it imperfect. That is bullshit. A God made an imperfect world, and if this is how, like, I don't believe in creationism and all that shit, but even like if that was the case, you could prove this to Christians and be like, no, your God made an imperfect world, or imperfect humans. Either way, that God is evil because it is a layer of evil, or not even a causation, but even in that case, the God would be a causation of evil because it made a entity that it didn't know what, even if it wasn't all-knowing. Even if you put limitations on your God and say, well, it didn't know that it's a causation because you gave, and so that's still a lesser level. Not knowing versus if it was all-knowing, and it knew the future, and then it made this, and then it used an argument like, well, you have free will, but you knew it was going to happen, and you're an enabler of evil and a causation of evil. You are two forms of evil. So if you really want to go there, your God, Christian God, Muhammad, and I say Muhammad like, whatever the God of Islam is, no disrespect, Hinduism, Jewish people and their religion, the Judaism, my mind glitches sometimes, sorry about that, Christianity, all of that bullshit about being good, loving, perfect. No, it's just wrong. You're just another layer of evil. You just don't want to admit it. And that's all I have to say. And that's crazy I'm saying this. I still believe in gods and beings and deities and all this energy forms and stuff like that. I believe they exist, and I know they exist. But I believe Demiurge, the main being that controls this physical reality, it doesn't want to admit that it created an imperfect reality. It's either that or it can't. I don't know. And I don't know how I couldn't admit that. There's something that we don't know about this reality we live in. There's something we can't understand about it. There's something we can't understand about this reality we maybe will never know. Or maybe we will one day. Who knows? That's it. Peace.